Welcome back to 20 Talk. This is your boy Ern B.
This your boy King Karim.
This your boy Dre Nice.
Hey, it's Steph DiArco.
And we're doing this remote, folks. It's snowing.
Yep.
And the snow never stops, as we can see.
Yeah, it's pretty bad outside. It's getting icy, hailing,
and all that good stuff.
Yeah, ain't nothing good about it.
Mm-hmm. It's, you know what though? I was talking to somebody earlier.
SUV season.
Yeah, right. It was
all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel drive.
Word. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I said, "Well, we haven't had snow like this in a mighty long time. I think it was really, really bad snow epidemic was 2009.
Yeah, man. I remember those.
Remember that? When it was 2010, it was really bad. It was ridiculous. You know, this is it. So, you know, it happens. We had to have it, get it out the way.
Shout out to all the warm states, man. Yeah, don't forget about your peoples up north.
Yeah. God bless those in Florida, though. They still waiting for that COVID cure.
Yeah, but they get 50-degree weather, bro. Over there, that's cold to them.
Right. I think 69 is too cold.
Nah, that's normal. You know, like anything below 62, I might as well be up here in New York.
Wow.
I might as well stay home.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, all of this that's going on, but you know what? To be honest, I can't complain one bit, and I'm sure you guys agree. Texas is, I've never seen nothing like this before, ever.
Yeah, ever. I saw one video, one guy said it hasn't snowed in Texas or like this since 1973.
Jesus.
Damn.
That's before I was born.
Sounds like the gold rush times.
Shout out to being young.
It sounds like the gold rush times, yeah.
It's not that far back.
It's not that far away, right?
I know.
I mean, it feels far away for some folks, but it's just crazy to me that the pictures that I've seen on the internet, social media, you know, they had a toilet that got completely frozen. So if you don't know, it's -2 degrees. That's where, to the point where things was getting frozen in people's homes.
Wow.
Right.
Did you see the one with a ceiling fan? They had the icicles in the ceiling fan in the house.
Oh my god!
How the hell they get icicles, bro? How
did that even happen?
Did they spray the ceiling fan?
Bro.
You mean did they spray water in the ceiling fan? Because the icicles are not going to form unless it's snowing inside the house.
Oh, it could be
condensate the moisture.
The roof could be leaking, sweetheart.
I know you Mr. Sam Champion over here, the weatherman.
Dre Champion.
I gotta here's Dre Champion, the weatherman over here.
Mr. G ass. Mr. G. I don't know, Mr. G. All I know is everything
cold out there.
Yeah, it's everybody out there is to the point where they're at people's homes. I got a good friend of mine who had to go to his in-laws' home for like 2-3 days. You know, their electricity got turned off. But what happened was it went on and it went back on. Again, went off and it went back on. It turned back on. So that's the situation. Besides the fact that there a few people did die in this situation. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
Right, you heard about that, right?
No, I didn't realize that people. Wow, 3 kids.
Right, and in a fire because they tried to put a fire on, but the fire overtook their home.
Oh man, that's sad.
Where was that, in the Bronx?
No, Texas.
No, something happened today in the Bronx also.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, in the Bronx. So sad.
Yeah, like my cousin, she lives. I have family in Texas, so one of my cousins, she lives in Austin, and she has 25 people staying in her apartment right now.
Oh, COVID city, son. Oh my god.
At least she's doing something good, you know, keeping people warm.
I understand that, but it comes to a point like do you neglect the fact that COVID is still existing, or are you worrying about the safety of everybody?
Well, then again, those places are huge, so they probably got plenty of room for 25 people.
No. Oh yeah, because everything in Texas is bigger.
And then also my cousins in Dallas, you know, they're losing power intermittently. One of them hasn't lost power. My other cousin, he hasn't responded back to me. And their sister, it's like I said, losing power in and out. And their parents' house, I think the water lines froze.
Right.
And, you know, because like I said, they don't have the capacity to deal with this weather.
It's
bro.
all about that infrastructure in Texas. They're built for warm weather, so you can't really expect them to kind of be prepared like New York.
Right.
Like we over here, like you talking about, oh, it's an inch. Like that's like nothing to us.
Right. We driving the highway and we see like the salt domes already there all year round.
You know, I feel bad. I feel terrible that that's happening to them because they're not really used to, weather like that. But
to my family out there, stay warm, man.
Yeah, stay warm, and all the people out there, please
stay strong.
And if you don't have to drive, don't drive either, please.
Right, stay home. Movie night every day.
Movie night, Netflix and chill.
The wires,
yeah, chilly, yo. Netflix and chilly.
The wires out here is it's made for winter. New York's New York. We got our regular 4 seasons,
right?
So we don't even complain, and we don't say can't wait for summer to start early. You know what it is,
exactly. We know exactly. Yep.
So out there, they're like, well, we really have summer in essence for almost like 9 months, maybe 10,
right?
And then they have some cold spurts here and there. It's funny because my boy was telling me about it. He was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. It's been so warm here. I don't remember a cold day. This was last year.
Right.
I didn't remember a cold day, and it's just, that's just what it is. But now, I mean, this Mother Nature said, nah, I need to give it to y'all. It's been since 73. Hold that.
Right. We were there. Yeah, we were there in right for New Year's 2018, January 1st, 2018. And the weather wasn't that bad. When we landed, it was cold, but then the rest of the week, it was like 60, 55 degree weather.
But for us, we're used to the cold weather.
For them, it was cold. For us, it was like freezing. A normal New York day.
We were outside with sweaters.
A New York
and they thought that we were crazy.
Right.
So.
Right. And you know how we do. If we drive, we don't worry about a big jacket.
No,
right. My jacket stays in the car.
We're in the car, so we're not stressing.
Basically.
Exactly.
But it's really tough, man. Prayers go out to everybody in Texas.
Yeah.
And again, always check up on your peoples. My boy, I checked up on my boy. I was wondering why he took so long to hit me back, like 8 hours. He's somewhere in the tropics, and he said, "Oh, my bad. Yeah, we on vacation."
Good for him. He lucked out.
Exactly what he said, and I told him, all right, no problem, man. It's 8 hours since you hit me back, but it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but hopefully when he gets home, like nothing is wrong with his house, bro. Like,
more than likely it is.
Plumbing.
He said Dallas got hit too.
Yeah, Dallas. Yeah, like I said, my family's in Dallas, and they got hit with like a few inches of snow, but to them, that's not normal. And on Instagram and Facebook, I see them outside, my cousins with their kids, like just pulling them through the snow, like. Now they got their own winter wonderland,
Right. I mean, you got to think about it, man. It's -2 degrees.
Damn, bro.
Like, we've never had that in New York, I believe. -2?
I think we had, like, back in the 90s, bro.
Yeah. Chill factor, the wind factor and all that stuff. Yeah, it's been -2 over here. Yeah.
Man, I don't remember -2. My soul don't remember it.
Because you know why? Because you drive. You just hop in your car and go. Just shut up and drive.
Because I'm over here thinking about it. I'm just like, man, -2? Like, when did I ever feel that effect of -2 degrees,
Right.
I'm looking it up now. They're only showing the snow. They're not showing the weather. They're just like, oh my God, the worst weather was like when we had snow. Like, that's the worst thing on planet Earth in New York. So like, I ain't gonna lie, we're thankful that's the worst thing we're having.
Right. Yeah. Steph and I, we've been to Lake Placid for the winter, and it was like -10.
-10.
-10.
And at one point, it was like it went down to -20.
-20. We've been to also to Toronto, Quebec in the winter, like around Valentine's Day. That's like -30, bro. -30, -40.
We outside. We're crazy.
It's like pure air.
It's so beautiful though.
Like non-polluted air, and it's still air. Like there's no wind, bro. It's just
wind. Like no wind at all.
All you see is just your breath just coming out. Like it's unexplainable, but just to get that fresh air in, the -30 degree weather, it's good, bro.
Wow.
It hits your lungs. Oh,
yeah, man.
You feel like you got a new set of lungs.
Yeah.
Golly, she said new set of lungs.
It's good. It's a good feeling. It's weird, but take that nice, and you good.
Here we go. That's dope, man. So, like I said again, God bless everybody in Texas. Right. So we're gonna talk about one guy who has, I think he got like 9 times 9. I'll say 81 lives. because this cat might be one of the worst but smoothest cat on planet Earth. Donald Trump. This guy is he's a yo. You ever watch Muhammad Ali fight? You ever seen those pictures where they show him just dodging, like he can't get hit?
Yeah.
Well, that's Trump.
There you go.
There's a point where this guy can't get hit. So, second impeachment.
My man's like a wild card, like a walking wild card in Uno, bro.
No. He's not a wild card at all. He's one of those guys where when you drop the Uno card and it's a draw four, for some odd reason, it reverse, skip, reverse, and it goes to somebody else.
Yo, I can't.
And you're like, wow, how did he skip you again, dude?
That's so funny.
I think he's gonna be quiet for a while, though. You know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be under the radar.
You know what I mean? I think he's like, you know what? Like you said, my 9 lives, I got 8 left. Like, you know what I mean? Let me save them. You know.
Yeah, but for what purpose? What purpose? He's never been quiet. What makes it any different now?
Because I feel like the heat's actually coming down, and it's to the point where it's like, damn, I've been getting away with so much. Let me take my money and run.
Good point.
You know, I've been getting like, you know what? Damn, I've been pushing my luck. I'm talking about like if there's somebody that had good luck, it's just got to be this dude, bro.
My man chilling in Mar-a-Lago in Florida right now, bro.
Yeah,
right. Well, Florida don't even want him. He had a situation where he bought some property in Florida. This is the case of when people are just so rich they think they could do anything they want, but he couldn't. So he bought property in Florida, and the area states that, well, you have to get this in writing saying that you can't literally just live here. This is an area where people come to visit. The most they can stay is like a week. And he gotta leave. Like, he had this in writing. So this guy goes over there on some, I'm back. And people were like, yo, fam, I ain't gonna lie to you. You're not the president no more. You know you can't stay here you can't just live here. And I think he was trying to push the envelope by just saying, look, I'm back. I ain't trying to hear it. I'm the president still. I still get $1 million just to travel and talk shit.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So Florida don't want him. I don't know who else won. He might move to Wyoming at this point.
They gave him the reverse card, man. They was like, nope, reverse.
Right. Absolutely. Cancel culture. Yep. He got canceled. He got canceled in Florida of all places.
Yeah, man. That's crazy, bro.
But the most important thing is to understand this, yo. Like, I was talking to my brother about this, and we knew for a fact he wasn't going to get impeached anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said that on the last show that we had, and we said that, you know, they have to, get the certain number of votes to impeach him, and we knew that they were even the people that talk crap about him still voted to acquit him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell voted to acquit him, and he said he was he actually did cause the situation, you know, so the Capitol Hill riot. Why you vote? So if you feel that way, why did you vote to acquit him?
Dude, the votes were like 57 to 43, and he needs 67 to get impeached, bro.
Right. Well, you already knew the number was 67.
Right. So 2/3. He needed at least 2/3.
So he probably pulled the if everybody's going that way anyway, let me just go this way anyway. So they can see my name says, nah, you still my guy. Don't be ridiculous. Here's my vote right here.
Right. But now all those senators that voted against the impeachment now for not be guilty, they're getting death threats from their residents. And they're telling them that we're not voting for you. This is your last term, all this stuff. It's getting crazy, bro.
More than likely. I mean, what did we learn this past year? Democrats is finally going to get a chance to have a lot of seats. Right. We don't know how long that will last because it usually doesn't last long, at least one term. Even when Barack was in, Republicans still had more seats. So this is a special situation, Right. But Donald Trump, man, this guy right here. And again, somebody said the funniest thing. There was like, God forbid this guy runs for president again and he wins.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Reverse card.
Oh, man. I'd rather vote for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, 2032.
I mean, shoot, if Donald Trump could win, you think,
of course,
all The Rock has to do is put
if it's on a popular vote, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think he'll win.
You know, if it's not about experience, he didn't have experience. I mean, right. So who's to say no?
You're trying to say anybody could be president nowadays?
We always said that.
Kanye West went for it.
We always tell little girls and little boys, you want to be president someday, you do what you got to do.
Exactly.
You have the ability.
Shout out to the future.
That's right.
I mean, just don't say nothing crazy about slavery. Don't say nothing crazy about the Holocaust. Don't say nothing crazy about what's the worst thing that you could say after that for them to be like, you know what? 50%. What's the worst thing after that? To say, not to say, so you could say, okay, yeah, I still could run for president. I don't remember saying anything crazy after those two things.
Right.
You know, that's the situation. Speaking of the Holocaust, the young lady from Mandalorian.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
So her situation, she got canceled, culture canceled. She got canceled from the show because she just stated her opinion. And Steph, what was her opinion again about everything that happened at Capitol Hill?
It was like a big comparison to the actual Holocaust itself. You know, it's what happens is when you talk about certain moments in history, you got to take back and you have to be a little bit sensitive. You know, there's nothing that says that you cannot say what you feel. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but sometimes you have to, you know, a little bedside manner sometimes works in your favor. You know, you have to kind of be a little bit cognizant of like, yeah, you know, like you don't want to say F this, F that, you know, you don't want to say things like that. And you don't want to talk about certain things that might be sensitive to others. So for her to say something like that, again, she's entitled to her opinion. But again, like you mentioned with the cancel culture, you can't just cancel people just because they said something. Right. Like there is still such a thing as freedom of speech. What we are doing is still a freedom of speech. Do you want people to censor us because we're giving opinions? No. That defeats the whole purpose.
Right, but then again, she got to remember who she works for. You know, she's working for a family-friendly network.
Right.
That you know, they're probably like don't like to be in the limelight of, you know, because of negativity about, you know, negative press. Mm-hmm. You know, and this is something that they're like, yo, we can't be tied to this, and they probably just censored her right away, bro.
And it's under the Mandalorian is under the Disney.
Right, it's under Disney, bro.
Under Lucasfilms, right?
Yep, George Lucasfilms. Yep,
George Lucasfilm. And I wanted to look up to see if George Lucas was Jewish, and it says he's not Jewish. You know, but I remember now George Lucas, I believe he sold everything to Disney. He sold the writings and the rights of Star Wars, to them. So maybe at the end of the day, like you said, they just don't want negative press regardless, right. Jewish or not.
Yeah, I mean,
trying to hear it.
It's too big. It's too big, and it's too you know, the you know, even whatever she said, you know, and the connotation is just so negative that they just like, you know what, cut all losses. You know, we're not going to even investigate the issue. You know, it's better we just cut everything and move forward. You know.
Right.
Then they're not going to try to. It's just too much for them to explain themselves. Oh no, she meant this. Or, oh no, that's not what she meant. You know, they're just going to be like, you know what? You know, especially with the sensitivity around the Holocaust and Capitol Hill going on right now. You know, it's one of those things where you got to be in the, you know, no one to have your, you know, let's say, like, you know, you don't want to add more fuel to the fire type situation.
Right. You don't want to press a hot button. You know.
Yeah. You don't want to add more fuel to the fire. And maybe I guess that's what Disney felt. Mm-hmm. You know, like, hey, this girl's added more fuel to the fire. You know, we got a great thing going for us. The Mandalorian was one of the biggest shows of 2020. Right. Held us down during COVID. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she's not going to mess that up for us. We're not going to lose it. We don't want to lose not one single viewer for this, because of her. You know?
Right. And you know how that goes. It's just that simple. There are viewers who watch the show literally for a specific person. You know, and that's just what it is. So some people loved her. They probably saw what happened. You know, they checked the statistics. It went down fast. Right. You know, on IDMB information. Movie database. They show where it's going up or it's going down in terms of ratings. They show it every day. You know, because something's going on, whatever the case may be. Like The Flash. I don't know if y'all knew. The guy who played Elastic Man, he had some rants.
He got fired too, bro.
Yeah, he got let go.
Yeah, cancel culture.
Cancel culture, you know. But he was saying a little bit something way more different than what the young lady was saying here.
Right.
You know? But
he was trying to make the world live, right? That's what King Kareem would say. He was trying to make the world live.
What you say?
No, like a famous line that King Kareem says is that, they're trying to make the world live now?
Here's a little... I'm going to read the last sentence of Gina Carano's IG. It says... I am sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. I have only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same. They can't cancel us if we don't let them. Stick together. I stand with you.
Wow.
You know, so now she feels free, bro. She feels like she's been liberated from this company. You know, that is apparently, you know, like we said before. You know, they don't want to be tied to this, bro. So they had to let it go.
Right. It's tough, man. It's tough. Like, you know what it is? I've started to notice that if you have, like, we have our own show, right? So we can't be censored. You know, we can have a cult following of maybe 1 million people and we can make money. But when you're on a TV show, it's completely different. Completely different. You can't just say anything you want,
right? Because you're representing. Yeah, you're representing somebody. You're repping. You know, however it is, you're repping this Disney, Lucasfilms. They're a reputable company, so they want to have a certain image, and you know, they don't want it to be, I don't know, diluted or put in any.
They don't want to lose any business.
Yeah,
that's all it comes down to.
That's all it comes down to.
Every viewer counts right now, especially with the streaming wars going on. You know, they got and Disney's held at a way higher standard in regards to criticism. You know, so they can't have that negative connotation hovering over them. And it's so crazy. Like, we're talking about this now, but if you look on the internet, that's it. It's done. You know, give it to it's like, you know, it's not like it never happened.
Right.
They shut it down so fast. It's like, they never even knew what was going to happen. They never knew one of them.
There's always going to be another incident that's going to overshadow this event, you know. So it happened last week already, and here we are talking about it.
No, but do you remember, like, back then, like, I mean, during the time of, I think it was in between The Mandalorian, I think it was like second or third episode, they were already trying to cancel Gina. I mean, it was like, it wasn't something that happened overnight. This has kind of been something that's been boiling for a little bit now. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, hold on. When did this happen exactly then?
I'm going to say in the beginnings of when The Mandalorian season 2 came out, there was something that at that time that they were already trying to cancel her already. There was already something stirring already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not like something that just came out of the blue, you know?
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we gotta look into
it. Wow. So that's crazy. I mean, but again, you go back to who you're working for, right?
Right.
You know, but if you're working for yourself, right? Or if certain areas who likes that heated conversation, that, oh my God, I can't believe he or she said that. Think about this guy who passed away a few days ago, Rush Limbaugh, right?
Right.
So Rush Limbaugh died at the age of 70, right? But this guy, Rush, I mean, he said whatever he wanted on his show.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever he wanted.
Because it was on AM, bro. Nobody listens to AM radio.
Lies. People listen to it. Lies.
Nah, people do listen to AM, but I get what you're saying.
Wins.
I get it. But you have to understand, this guy he's one of the most hated people out there at one point, you know?
Besides Howard Stern.
He just doesn't care. You know? So I'll give you one example that he said back in 2007, right? So when he began airing, he said, "The Magic Negro," a racist parody song about then Senator Barack Obama's popularity with many white voters in 2007. Like, this guy just do things and says, who am I going to get upset? You know? And do I care? No, because I don't work for nobody, really.
Okay, so doesn't that remind you of somebody? The president. That dude says whatever's on his mind.
Right.
But he feels like he doesn't work. He works for nobody else. Right. He feels like he works for himself.
Trying to say is, why is it okay for him to say these things and get away with it, but this girl can say that and get fired? It's not cool. You know what I mean?
Different times, bro.
Because she's representing a company. He's by himself. He's running his own thing.
Yeah, but then you have to remember the times are different now. Back then, you could say whatever you want and nobody cared. Now we got social media.
No, we're talking about everybody that's being sissies and being super sensitive. That's what something that she would say. Like if you have the cancel culture, these people are being really sensitive. You're not really listening to my message. You're being sensitive. And, in her defense, maybe sometimes people are just a little sensitive. People are bringing back old news and bringing out old stuff that really may not even be relevant. But, again, you can't have your opinion and then have everybody happy about it either.
Right.
So.
Right. This is the situation where you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Nope.
Like, no way.
Nope.
Let me give you another one. This guy. So the most dangerous man in America, Rush Limbaugh's assault on reason. The host was quoted as saying this homophobic statement: "When a gay person turns his back on you, it is anything but an insult. It's an invitation."
He did not say that.
Yes, he did say that. This guy, he said whatever he wanted, whatever happens.
Good for him. Good for him that he was able to have the freedom to say whatever he wants, because a lot of people have been censored just for saying something not even in the same line as that. But okay, good for him.
Good for him because, he was an old school white guy who was basically saying whatever he wanted to say anyway. So that didn't change really, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
This was going on for a long time, right?
Right.
So this guy was like, again, he was controversial. And you know what happens with controversy? It sells all the time.
All the time.
But RIP to a guy who, from what I've been hearing, wasn't he on the, they talked about him on The View? Then they some of
them chopped him up, some of them backed him up, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They definitely talked. It wasn't an all good conversation. I mean, they definitely pointed out the things the things that the negative things, the positives. I didn't hear much positive, but I know that they end up on The View.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the show to get cut off from. If you want to get cut, end up on The View. Yeah.
Wow.
Because once Whoopi gets to you, that's it.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah, she's gonna give you a Whoopi. Yeah, that's it. She's out. You out.
Wow. Whoopty. Hey. So it's like I said, man. It's a point where you have to find out. What are you gonna do moving forward in life, man? Are you gonna just say what you want to say, even if you're right, or even if you're wrong, or even if it's just opinion? Or are you going to be a coward and just say, you know what, just let it slide. We'll be all right, everybody. It's tough out there, man. It's really tough out there. People don't look what happened to Kevin Hart when he said an old joke back in the day, 8-9 years ago. And he came back to haunt him.
No, but I kind of what I'm trying to say with Steph, like, I mean, I see like, like he didn't get that, that harshness, Kevin Hart did,
mm-hmm.
And it haunted him for, like you said, how many years? Like mad years later. You know what I mean? But, I guess it's who you know.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be who you know at this point.
Yeah,
it has
who
to
you know.
It has to be.
And I know how you guys going to find us for 20 Talk, right, Steph?
Yeah.
How are they going to find us?
Where are they going to find us? Guys. You're going to find us on Anchor. You're going to find us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find us on Google.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find us on Apple.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find us on Breaker Radio and Radio Public. Don't forget, we're also on iHeartRadio, guys. Don't forget. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 20Talk20. We'll be right back, guys.
We're not going to end up on The View, I promise.
Love it. So look, guys, we'll be right back again. We are remote. I want to give a special thanks to Dre Nice and Steph. They pretty much set it up beautifully for us.
Yeah.
And I know you're hearing everything you want to hear. So holla at us. We'll be right back. Man, I'm gonna just cut to the chase, man. This guy's a living legend to me. I don't know about y'all, but he's been through the ups and downs, and now it's been nothing but up with him in life, you know.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this guy right here, he's a walking, talking legend, man.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Your
yo.
crush stuff.
Oh my God. Permission granted.
Permission granted. Unbelievable, yo. When you know when you're a living legend is when somebody's husband says, you know what, babes, I'll let this one slide.
Absolutely.
You can have The Rock.
It's like the episode of Family Guy. So where Lois sleeps with Tom Brady. Like, it's okay.
It's okay. It's Tom. What are you talking about, right? So, The Rock, he's done it all. He's doing it all, and it doesn't stop yet. But now he got a new show called A Young Rock.
Yeah.
It's on NBC, right?
Love it.
It just premiered on Tuesday, right? But it's a half an hour series, right?
Yeah, half an hour.
Yeah. So much can happen in half an hour. So.
Right. They say half an hour, but it's literally 22 minutes.
Right. It just pretty much just chronicles
stuff. Yeah.
It's chronicling his whole life and how he made it to where he is today. You know, because his story is about perseverance, about growing up, you know, coming from a wrestling family.
Right. Not rags to riches, though.
Yeah, but no, it kind of is because his family.
It kind of is.
Because his family didn't have that much money, bro. Even though, like in the first episode, you see that his dad was working at a warehouse, bro. Like he wasn't, even though he was wrestling, he wasn't making enough money as a wrestler.
Right. So what people didn't know is, remember, this is not the official WWE, WWF situation now.
Right.
You know, it didn't get there yet.
Right. I think WWE wasn't around yet. I think it was.
I believe right. Correct. So this was the beginning of a movement that became legendary in wrestling.
Yeah.
You know. So what I liked about the show is the fact that The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he knew all those wrestlers growing up.
Yeah, man. You saw that,
you cannot make that shit
Junkyard
up,
Dog.
Oh my
God.
God.
Iron Sheik was his uncle.
Andre the Giant.
Right. Andre the Giant.
Oh my goodness.
The Samoa twins. Yo, I was like, damn.
I was over here like,
going down memory lane.
Yeah, man. Brought back so many memories.
Right. It was unbelievable. I was like, yo. And you know what I liked about the show? Man, that dude Iron Sheik looked like Iron Sheik for real.
Yeah. And Andre the Giant. The resemblance is uncanny, bro.
So uncanny, yup.
And I thought the show was funny. It had humor. Yeah, just the fact, like the whole story itself of him growing up. And also what we loved was the fact that we didn't think that he was going to be narrating his story like in person. You know, because the beginning of it takes place in the future, 2032, and he's running for president, bro.
Right.
So now he's doing an interview with my man Agent Wu from
WandaVision.
You said Agent Wu.
Randall Park, right? Randall Park? No. I feel like I'm saying that
the
wrong.
name of Agent Wu?
Yeah.
Man, Agent Wu, man. We'll get to his name in a second.
To his name. But the
Randall
whole
Park,
interview,
Randall Park, you're right.
Randall Park, yeah. So
and he's playing himself, actually.
Yeah, so now he has his own talk show in the beginning, and he's basically telling his life story to Randall Park in the show of all his upgrading, just the flashbacks and stuff. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Right, and I mean, it's just awesome to you got to think about your childhood when you think about The Rock's childhood. Like, I didn't know all these people in real life. You know, I just watched you guys on television.
Right.
This guy would see these guys almost once a week, twice a week, playing cards, talking smack, saying whatever they said, man. And I think that's just pretty awesome. You know, it takes you to a place where you just appreciate. I guess you say you appreciate your childhood and everything we've watched.
Right.
You know, when we was young too. You know, so this show, in my opinion, is gonna be here for a while.
I think so.
It's gonna be here for a while.
That's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah, I mean, I was going through my Instagram and my Facebook, and it was nothing but marketing. Right.
It got mixed reviews because people don't know what to think. But I think us in our age category, we grew up watching the wrestlers, like all these wrestlers that they mentioned, old school wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. It just brings back the nostalgic feeling for me.
Right. And that's the part that I love overall, man. And I love the character who played The Rock's mom. If it's based on his life, his mom was so understanding.
Right.
You know, from the father to saying, "Hey, I'm going to hang out with the fellas." You know, that's how we put money on the table. They're doing their best to figure out another route besides just wrestling. You know, they was going to look into a tiki bar. You know, to do an investment.
Right.
His mom's talking about, look, you know, if you want to try to get a car, get a car. But for now, I got to do what I got to do.
Right, we can't afford it and all this stuff. You don't need a car. Right, right.
You know, that's
your dad has
so understanding on the show.
Right, and you know what it is when it comes to moms. You know, sometimes they are like that. They understand. They try to keep us at bay. You know, so we won't see the real thing that's happening behind closed doors.
Right.
You know, so they'll tell us the right thing to kind of like get us away from that. And just the fact that he told, like his father told him, "Oh, I can't take you for ice cream. I gotta go with the fellas for a business opportunity." I turned around and I asked Steph, "Do I act like that? Do I do that all the time? Like with the kids, I promise them one thing and be like, 'Yo,'
absolutely," and
then turn around and be like, "Yo, I'm going out with the fellas."
I'm always making excuses. I find myself making excuses, but not to make him look bad, but just to not make the kids feel bad either. So I find myself in that situation all the time.
Who's he hanging out with, bro? You been hanging out with me.
He said, "You don't hang out with me." He said, "Maybe if you put a shirt on, he'll hang out with you."
You sound hurt. Okay, Kareem, you sound hurt.
You're welcome.
Yeah, bro. I'm trying to figure out what's the story over here.
Man, he hanging out with his job. That's what he's hanging out with.
Oh, it's okay. So,
He said that's the second best friend. That job.
That job. Oh, that old job.
The gig, But I mean, it's it's funny because when you get older, you understand, why parents did what they did.
Right.
You become those parents. And I'm not a parent, but you understand it. You see it. I see you guys. I see my friends with their kids and certain things that they want to promise, but their things do come up.
Right.
But this show again, man, this show is really, really cool. It's I love the way they jump in. It looks like they're gonna jump from him being a kid, him being in high school, him being in college consistently. Right. I can see it now.
I hope they go back to his childhood, because that little kid was hilarious, bro. It was so funny to watch him. I hope they go back and forth, between like different memory lanes, maybe different time periods in his life. To go back and forth, that'd be funny.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. If they don't, then the show won't last long.
Right, it's not.
Because that's monumental to how him as his father, kind of, react to certain. He's gonna react to certain things his father won't do.
Right.
So you already see the foreshadowing in that.
Right.
His father's gonna make promises, and his father, like we already know, his father's doing his best to get that money.
Right.
For his family. So there's gonna be a lot of broken promises, as we probably can see, But I'm loving him as in high school. Man, he was boosting to keep the rep alive.
Yeah,
that's
the gimmick.
crazy.
The gimmick. Right, that was the message behind the show, that there was always a gimmick that you were running. But when you ran that gimmick, it was a little bit of it came with trouble.
Right.
at some point.
Oh my God, man.
Right.
He just kept saying that girl's name over and over. Like, she's so important right now.
Right.
And I was over here like, fam, you don't even know her last name yet.
No, Karen.
You don't even know her middle name.
Her name was Karen, for real?
Oh my God, yeah. This show got so much promise. So it's really good to see. I'm really looking forward to next week's show. Just to see, if it passes this mark, because on Information Movie Database right now is at a 6.4.
Wow.
Right? And that's pretty good for a first time show.
Really? It's not like 8 or 9?
Nah, not yet. Rightfully so, because again, we didn't get to see didn't get to see much more the way we wanted to see much more.
But do you guys think, is it because, like he's always talk about all these stories throughout his life, telling us? What do you mean? As his fans, he's always tell us about his perseverance.
Yeah,
like the story about the homeless guy in back of the truck, in the back of the car.
The crackhead.
He's talked about it. He's talked about getting his mom the red Cadillac. So now we see it being played out. You think because he already talked about it so much that everyone's going to get bored with it?
Well, we don't know yet. It's only one episode. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah, give it a chance. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shows out there who who is not as lucky, you know, overall, like The Witcher, off of like 2 shows, I believe. They got like a season 2 automatically, like that fast.
Yo, Witcher is dope.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But it was a fast. I think it was like a record to be like, oh, Witcher already got a season 2 before season 1 even came out.
Okay. Yeah,
you know,
that doesn't usually happen.
Right, that doesn't usually happen.
Oh, so you think the fan base kind of like excelled it to get to that point where it's going to be already a hit?
Right.
I think it's definitely gonna. You know, anything The Rock does is gonna be a hit. You know,
I think so too.
And he's definitely not. You know, his whole approach is the millions and million fans out there that support him. Like, you know, that he's all about his fans.
Right.
You know, from day one. You know, and like I said, he's not gonna. To get a show on primetime television, that's like you're competing with like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You're competing with like all these epic shows.
You're pulling strings right now. Like there's something.
Was the one with Chris Rock? Everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris.
Everybody hates Chris. You could like even like Malcolm in the Middle and like all these like these shows. Like these are like funny shows. Like, you know, that. So, you know, he's gonna go hard at this show. He's not gonna. He's not gonna. He'll definitely push this situation.
Right. Also, the beginning of the show, it kind of hinted at now they're saying that he might be running for president. You know, so that they were taking that from
anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Right?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, they were hinting at that.
You know, it's one thing about Dwayne Johnson. You always notice his servitude of helping people.
Oh, I love what he stands for. That never stops
with him.
Yeah,
it's always there. He's always helping somebody through his shows, through his foundations.
It's charity work.
Always
charity work. You know? He's always giving back, man. I love it, man.
Always giving back, you know, and that's his thing. You know, that could be his purpose overall. You know, so being the president, I don't know. You know, it's interesting that you did point that out. That would be cool because people forget he wouldn't be the first actor to become a president. You know, Ronald Reagan was an actor first. People forget that.
Wow.
You know,
so he had Schwarzenegger in California, the governor.
Right, Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You know, basketball players became.
Then we had what's the name of Ventura? Jesse Ventura, governor, another governor.
Right. You know, so you just never know.
Right.
You never know how this thing is gonna go. Either way, you know. But I like it. It's a great situation. I think that the show is here to stay. You know. I think the show is here to stay.
That's always the goal. But I think that's always important to kind of follow his message. I think his message has always been positive, and I think that there were so many different beautiful moments in exchange between his mom and him talking about, you know, things might be difficult, but, you know, family is so important. So I think that was always his premise, and I think that was always the foundation of that show. And you can tell, you could just tell that it's a genuine storytelling. And I mean, I'm drawn to it already. So hopefully he can continue with that success with that show as well, you know.
Yeah, it's and Dwayne Johnson, what he has around him is, I think he has a production company too, you know. They're smart, you know. Let's do what's smart, or what makes sense and what people attracts. Remember Will Smith when he started his whole Limbrook movement? He sat down. He basically said, what will bring people to the theaters, right? What will make people happy? Explosions, car scenes, animals, some type of monsters or whatever, aliens. And if you notice, with his movies, action with car scenes.
Yeah.
Aliens, big explosions, you know?
So it's Michael Bay? You talking about Michael Bay now?
Michael Bay, correct.
Michael Bay all the way.
Right. So, you know, The Rock is the same situation. If you didn't notice it, you know, make it smart.
Action hero. Yep.
Worst come the worst. In Hollywood, worst come the worst, make your money back. Make that money back. Don't mess that money up, you know? And, you know, it's like, why not? You know, it's a good situation. And again, I think he's going to stay as well. So with that being said, we have a small dilemma with a show that I'm praying to God that stays. But people have a lot of other feelings because I don't think this person could backflip. So We're talking about the Equalizer.
Equalizer.
The show starring Queen Latifah.
Yeah, the one without Denzel. That's the
without
one.
Denzel.
Man, it's the world we live in when people think Denzel could actually fight that well in the Equalizer.
Man, he didn't fight that. That's what they have stunt doubles. Stop it.
Well, there's a lot of people out there in this world who are mad that Queen Latifah has this role because they're overthinking, in my opinion. But what are your thoughts since you watched it so far?
My thoughts, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. The formula has been done, but now the question is, how are they going to develop that formula to get the audience to watch, to keep them in tune every week? Like we had shows like Person of Interest.
Right.
Person of Interest was dope.
Absolutely.
So that was like one of my favorite series to watch, and I was sad when it ended. And just the fact that this is kind of playing that role, I'm torn in between, because I'm like, I've seen this before. Don't get me wrong, I like Queen Latifah. I hope the show does well. But like I said, I don't see it getting past one season.
Okay.
Like I said, I could be wrong. Usually I spit facts, bro.
Okay.
Like I said, you could prove me wrong, but like I said, we'll see. Like I said, I'll still tune in every week to watch it. I hope it gets well. I hope it gets better. I do like the fact that it's in the movie Denzel, his name is Robert McCall. Now her name is Robin McCall.
Right.
It's the same premise. She was in the CIA. She left, and now she's on her own. All this stuff, and now she's doing things to protect people. So it's the kind of the same premise as the movie.
Okay.
So it's like I said, I do like the direction it's going, but I feel like they rushed into it too quick. They should have just built up a lot of backstory first, and because I think they will in the next few episodes with her in the military to find out what happened, why she left the CIA agency and all this stuff. So.
Okay, and that's a good point. I actually can see that. What do you think, King Karim?
I'm gonna play the middle. I'm gonna play the intermediate, because right now, like you said, there's only 2 episodes. I did watch episode 1. I did watch episode 2. I told you I felt episode 2 was a little slow, even though the audience kind of knows where that show is headed from from the beginning. Queen Latifah, like we also spoke about cheesy lines, right. And we want to do a show. We don't want it to be too cheesy. We want it to be fresh. We want that that coolness of that character,
right?
That Zell played. And I'm still. I watched episode 1. I watched episode 2. I'm looking for that. This she has that
it factor,
that thing about her,
right?
You know what I mean? And I didn't get that yet. But like in the Equalizer, we saw how in the movie The Equalizer, we saw how crisp and cool and nonchalant Denzel was.
Right.
And like I said, this is an alternate story, but we'll wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see. I'll give it a season. And like I said, we're up to episode 2, and by the time, I'm sure we'll revisit this by the end of the season.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't get to the point where we get a full season and we're like invested in him, like, yo, so good, and then boom, December 31st, we get the article, shows that have been canceled for 2021, for 2022. Equalizer, I don't want to. I hate to see that happen, bro, because I hate being invested in the show that I like so much, and then all of a sudden it just gets canceled because it doesn't get enough audience enough viewers to watch. The numbers, because at the end it's all about the numbers game. If she can't produce the numbers, for the viewership, it's gonna get canned, bro.
Okay, so, and I agree with everything I said. And remember when we was in the chat, I talked about the cheesy lines?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, that's the only thing that's kind of just getting on my nerves. I want those lines to be a little bit smoother.
You gotta be cool, bro. You gotta be that. You gotta be like, you have to have that attitude, that charisma, and I don't get it yet.
Okay, so you're saying that you can believe that she was a CIA agent? Because I didn't. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, so why don't you believe it though?
No, there was just something off about it. Do you remember at one point that she was having a conversation with the lawyer and she was like, "Oh, damn. Like, what do you mean, oh, damn? If you're in the CIA, you've probably met people along the way that are savvy, that are conniving. Right. There are so many different personalities that you're going to be facing. So for you to make a comment like that, I'm like, yeah, how long have you been in the CIA? You haven't dealt with any situation like that? Like, that's how I see it. That's how I see it. I'm looking at it from that standpoint, but I'm like, I don't find her believable as a CIA agent. Cop? Yeah. I could definitely, like a cop? Yeah, definitely. CIA agent? Not so much.
So you think she's the female version of Ice-T?
Could be.
Nah, way off.
I mean, I don't even know. I can't even use it as a reference because I don't see. What is he was in?
I think he's in Law and Order.
Law and Order.
CSU. I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Which I mean,
I've never watched Law and Order.
Nah.
I've watched Law and Order, but I've never seen the one with.
Not at all.
I haven't seen him.
I know it's a crime I've committed. Yes, I haven't seen Grey's Anatomy. I haven't seen Law and Order. But I mean, that's something down the line I would love to see. But you know, I don't know who to compare her to. But I just don't see her like being slick as a CIA agent.
Well, I've never worried about Grey's Anatomy for real. Although I've heard it's a good show. Every hospital show is a good show, truthfully. You know, every one of them that they showed, they've lasted for at least 5 to 7 seasons, maybe 15 seasons. Grey's Anatomy is a 20-year show, isn't it? Almost.
I think it's 18 seasons now.
So yeah,
so chances I have a lot to catch up.
Solid.
It's hard to play catch up on some of those shows that's been out for so long. 18 seasons, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm actually headed toward the Soprano road right now. I'm gonna actually try to finish the Sopranos.
Wow, you must have been doing a lot of overtime, bro, to miss the Sopranos.
Okay, so now since we're talking about like her in playing a CIA agent, are we gonna compare her to like Homeland? Jack Ryan, you know, like Quantico.
Can't do it.
You know, because these actors are all badasses. You know, like all these actors in these shows.
But you can't. It's not the same situation,
right?
It's not to the point where it's a show where they're showing, cursing. Bloods, guts, right. You know, this type of technique. Oh my God, I know you didn't just do that.
Quantico was on
ABC.
Same
situation at all.
Quantico was on ABC and they weren't allowed to do that stuff either. And yet the main character, the protagonist, she was very successful as a CIA agent. Believable. Beginning to end. I enjoyed Quantico. And I love that they highlighted her. Oh my goodness, she just married one of the Jonas brothers. I'm gonna say the name Chopra. Yeah. And I know. She is a gorgeous individual, and I found her intelligent. I found her believable as a CIA agent. Queen Latifah, love her, but believable as a CIA agent? No. That whole part when she got her hair all wet and like what?
Like, was she getting?
like no, come on.
My girl had her.
Hold on. What? I didn't get any. The part she got her hair wet.
Yeah, that whole scene that she was.
She getting gagged with the water.
I was like,
the technique, the torture.
I'm like, all right, come on.
That's why you didn't believe her because she got her hair wet?
No, yeah, that's the only reason. No, you're sitting there and you're talking about, you see those red bullseyes? Yeah, I'm like, what?
Those are for you.
Those are for you.
Right.
Now, that's the thing when you call it about cheesy parts. That's the whole part when it comes down to.
Right. See, that's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. It's predictable. That's what I'm saying.
It's not her fault, though.
No, it isn't.
Writers.
No, it's not her fault. No, but that's what I'm saying. It comes down to that.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. And again, like, you know, if I'll put it like this: if Queen Latifah was writing this stuff, then I'm like, Queen, like, let the writers write. Come on now, boo. Right? But if the writers were writing this, then we have a problem. You know, everything. It don't matter who the actor is. It don't matter literally who the actor is. If your writing is bad, the show is bad or the movie is bad. It's just that simple.
True.
You can't walk around that.
True.
You know?
True.
I'll give you another example. Batwoman. Oh,
never seen it.
Yo.
Which one? The new one with the new character?
With the new character, bro. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, I don't mean to bring the show because we're not talking about it, but comparing it to what the struggles with a little bit with the Equalizer in terms of writing.
Right.
It's the same situation. Not even with the new character. The first season, dude, this show got a 3.4 rating.
Out of 10?
Is that a 5 out of 10?
Out of 10.
Damn.
That's
like what?
bad,
Really?
bro.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh man,
I like CW, bro.
Because that bothers me because that's a great storyline.
Right.
Yeah. And the network too, man. CW's been doing it good with all the DC shows. Stuff. Yeah.
And it just really bothers me because, like, man, like that storyline is a great storyline. The comic books, the whole situation, the cartoons, and they just can't get this right. You know what I mean? And how it goes from one character to one main character to another. It shows this disorganization in that whole storyline and in that whole
the whole screenplay.
They're trying to save the show.
They're
trying to save it, and it's just like I said, it's just terrible. That's not something you could do that to. Like, oh yeah, we got room for error. We're gonna make it better. Like, nah, you gotta, when you put something out big like that, Batwoman on TV, like, you know what I mean? You got to get it right, and I kind of feel the same way about this Equalizer show. Mm-hmm. I hope they get it right. You know what I mean? And there's no room for error.
Right.
Because when you, like, especially when you're topping a big Denzel movie, you're trying to continue continue off that. That's a lot, big shoes to fill.
Right.
And like I said, same thing with the Batwoman show. Like, there's big shoes to fill. When you got some shows like Smallville and Supernatural, and all the other even Arrow, like, those are big shoes to fill.
Flash and everything like that, right? Supergirl, everything.
Supergirl. Those are big shoes to fill for you to start off the show and say, you know what, let's get another main character.
Right. Right. And the situation with that is, like, Ruby Rose, the first person to play, the first woman to play Batwoman, she left. I think she probably saw the writings on the wall. Was it due to creative
differences? Is that what it was?
It was tons of differences, man. It was tons of differences. But the writings on the wall are the writings on the wall. Like, when Ben Affleck left in Batman, he probably said, you know what? This ain't working out. And, people always say, give one particular reason why it's not working out. But people see something that they just don't like. So when you have big stars leaving a big franchise movie together, something's off completely.
Right.
Completely, This Batwoman situation, I wish it was great. Because I like the style of the new actress who took over.
Right.
But she's not going to be able to get a chance of a big win with the writing on this show. She won't.
It's one of those, she probably was like, well, I'm just going to do it, see where it goes, and then hopefully see where my celebrityness goes from there.
Bro, it has a 3.4.
Because she even said it, right? Because she even said it. The actress even said it.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
The actress even said it, that she used to pass by the billboard every time when she used to go to work. And now her billboard is up there with her face on it. So she's kind of like, I guess, getting starstruck by her own. But like you said, you can't save the show. They probably invested all this money with the set and everything, and now we're out of an actress. Let's hire somebody. Let's get somebody here quick. Figure out how to save the show.
Right. So where it gets difficult is this, right? So you're giving everybody a chance to play a role, right? You're doing instead of a man playing this role, a woman playing this role. And that's great, but you have to have the ability to have that character to look somewhat similar to that person, right? In some type of fashion. Somewhat similar to say, ooh, I get it. And I can see it as well. When Batman does the Bruce Wayne situation, you have to see him playing Bruce Wayne and Batman. Right? Some of these characters, you just don't see it, unfortunately, man. And it's just tough, man. Supergirl almost got canceled a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but then it got picked up by a different network.
Right, they had to.
Right.
They had no choice.
I thought it was good. I saw the whole first season, and I'm like, man, this is good. Yeah, I was surprised that another network picked it up, and now it's on Netflix, and now it's everywhere. I think they got like 5-6 seasons now.
Right, yeah, I believe it's season number 6. But again, man, it's tough for certain shows because, like King Karim said, this opportunity to do all of that is chance to fail is tough. So we're gonna see. All right. So look, we're gonna go into funny talk, and we'll be right back.
We about that time of the show. My favorite part of the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. We got funny talk. You know what I mean? And today we're talking about Jamaican me jet blue. If there's one thing I can't stand is a liar. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you lose me for life if I find you lying.
No, do it in the accent again. Do it in the accent again. I heard it.
What, Jamaican me jet blue?
It's a lie.
No, bro. Like, yeah, you can't stand a liar. Yeah. If you lie upon the whole country. You lie upon the whole country, you said they kidnap you. Lord.
Oh, jeez on.
Oh, Lord.
Lord.
Oh, scunt.
So exactly what happened, though?
Just, her name is Kalina Collier.
Okay.
She was a flight attendant for JetBlue. I mean, apparently, supposedly, she got COVID and she got stuck in Jamaica. She wasn't able to come back. And then she went on social media saying they kidnapped her out here. Like, I mean, my first joke is like, they kidnapped you and ain't take your phone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how
is she keeping in touch with everybody?
You can make it smarter than that, bro. Yeah.
Oh my God, they didn't take the phone, dog.
Like, yo, and you went on there, and like, oh man, she deserved everything she got. You know what I mean? I know she got JetBlue reviewed the whole thing, and they professional misconduct. They hold JetBlue at a very high
standard.
At a standard. I mean, and they let her go. I mean, they let her go. But like, let's talk about this lying situation. What does it take to lie?
Okay, so here's my question. Here's my question about that. So you said that she said that she caught COVID?
Right. She was kidnapped.
No, but first she tested positive, so she had to quarantine in Jamaica.
Okay.
So, but after she quarantined, she's posting videos all over social media that she's on vacation, she's on the beach and all this stuff. And then she's I think she went on Instagram saying that she was kidnapped by the hotel. And then apparently, they wouldn't release her because she tested negative. She wanted to leave, but they wouldn't let her leave. But now she's saying that the hotel is like trying to cover their tracks and everything and all this stuff.
The hotel is
the hotel she was staying, and that she never said that she was kidnapped and all this stuff. The police showed up after they reviewed the videos. Mm-hmm. I guess the company saw that she was posting videos and they reviewed it, and then they went to her hotel room to make sure she was fine. And then they knocked on the door and she was, I guess, probably in her bikini. Like, I'm just chilling. I'm just.
So she basically said the water.
She's tagging the hotel. Like, she's tagging the hotel. Like, you know what I mean? Thought about a bad, a not thought out plan. Like, if you're gonna say you're getting kidnapped, man, you need to watch more movies. Like,
come out with a better story, right?
And figure this shit out. Like, yo, talk about the greatest hit. Where's your plan?
The Great Gatsby gone wrong.
Yo, where is your plan? When did you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to tell everyone I was kidnapped. And for what reason? What's the purpose? Like, you got a good job.
No, but she didn't want to get in trouble, right? I mean, I'm assuming
she had a great reason. The water temperature was perfect.
Yeah.
There's no way she's leaving that perfect water beach temperature now.
Nah, that's still not a good enough reason.
I must go to Jamaica because people are lying to stay there. You got people lying to stay there. Like, that's how beautiful and how nice the place is.
Okay, so how is that different when people call out sick? You don't want to go to work, you calling out sick. How is that any different?
I didn't embarrass the whole country though. I got to stay in my house.
Absolutely. Exactly.
I might have hit the mall. I might have been drinking the night before, but I ain't dragged the whole country down with me. Like, yo, sorry, Guyana, you coming with me?
like the whole Jamaica's over here. Like, yo, we just trying to We just trying to keep it 50-50 here. You said we did what now? The whole hotel? The maids did what? Grab a leg? The men did what? Who parked the cars? They took your rental? Like, lady, you're killing us right now.
Yeah, like I'm reading right now. The tourism minister, Edmund Bartlett, said in a statement that she was not abducted, but being quarantined in her hotel for 14 days, which is in keeping with internationally accepted COVID-19 protocols.
My thing is, you're going to try to ruin one of the country's main
attractions.
Main financial attractions is tourism. You're going to say, this is how the country pays their people, how to keep their the roof over their head and keep the everything running smoothly is tourism.
Could you imagine that? And could you imagine somebody who's touring in Jamaica saying, yo, I seen people just smoking weed. Like, lady, this is what we do here. Like, I want you to come over and enjoy this weed as well as the establishments that we have in this beautiful beach. Don't tell us we're doing something wrong like kidnapping you. That's a whole nother movement. Governments gets into the situation now. Unbelievable, yo. What a clown.
To top it off, she's a New Yorker, bro.
I thought she was from Florida or something.
Come on.
From New York. Oh,
that just makes it worse.
Hold on. Where, the Bronx?
It says Collier is back in New York. It doesn't say where, bro. It's hilarious.
They're not gonna say where she lives. She in the state of New York. That's it. That's enough for me. If she in the five. She's in one of the 5 boroughs, and her ass is going over there to Jamaica saying she got kidnapped. Come on now.
Oh man,
unbelievable, yo. Unbelievable.
All right. But what's to gain?
Nothing.
What was the gain? What's the gain out of this?
She went viral.
Just like Gorilla Girl.
Was it the gain? You think she got followers?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. She got followers.
I wouldn't be surprised if people raise money for her and everything, a GoFundMe page.
Oh jeez.
All because of her looks,
In the beginning, yes, but now you find out she lied on an entire country. Shoot, what American out here talking about? It's all good. People make mistakes. Shoot, they're probably gonna throw an axe at her ass. She come back home.
Yeah, it's crazy,
wherever she's from. Anyway, there's some things you say. There are things we lie about, and there are things you be like, I'm not gonna use that as a lie. No way. That's just so hard.
There's white lies, I guess. And then there's this kind of lie, like. This could have got people hurt. This could have got a whole. I can see a lot of things going wrong with this whole situation.
She should have just used crazy glue on her hair and try to get that GoFundMe
and be over with it.
Point. Yeah,
but at least her with what's her name, Tasika Brown. At least she donated her money to charity, brother.
Good for her.
Yeah. Good for her. Well, she said she made enough money anyway. Honestly, on doing other stuff. So she said majority, she's like 90% of that money off the GoFundMe. She gave it away. She was good. She wasn't concerned with money anyway. She really made a mistake. She really messed up. Like, that was really stupid. So, but this girl right here, oh no, she's probably banned from flying.
Probably banned from working in the airline industry, period, bro.
Unbelievable. She's going to have to start an OnlyFans joint.
It's not like she could go to Southwest or American Airlines.
What did you say under your breath?
Huh? She's going to start a GoFundMe page.
No, that's not what he said. What did you say?
OnlyFans page?
That's what he said.
Hey,
Jamaican me blue.
Right?
Jamaican me blue.
If you got it, flaunt it at this point, because look, man, it's just, there's some lines you just don't use,
What's the line you always tell me? Oh, Steph, you look great in that dress. Meanwhile, it's not the truth, right? It's a white lie. It's okay. You'll live another day,
I'll tell you straight up, I don't like that shit.
I know you do. He never gives me no white lie. That I have to admit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'd be like, how
let me tell you something. This guy
Change
right here,
shit.
he always gave me the truth. Never a white lie with this dude. Wow. Either you love him or you hate him. He was like, nah, don't look right on
honest.
you. He's like, nah, don't look right on you. Take it off. I was like, okay.
She'd be like, F you. But I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's hilarious, y'all. But yeah, man, there's so much to talk about still, man. We're not even done with idiots.
This just keeps on going.
So, Dre, this is where you come in with your quote, and just tell the people who you're talking about when you mention your quote, and just go in because this guy deserves it.
Yeah, our quote of the day: it's if you got nothing nice to say, shut the fuck up.
Oh my goodness!
Just shut your mouth. Same thing with this girl. You got to watch what you say.
Shut your face.
Yeah, So we're talking about Tim Boyd. He was the mayor of Colorado City, Texas.
This fool.
Yeah, he pretty much went on Twitter and trying to tell people that you don't deserve a handout, don't be a part of the problem, be part of the solution, and that only the strong will survive.
Oh my God!
What is he talking about? Charles Darwinism out here. This is crazy.
You got to do whatever you can to keep your family warm. He said the government and any municipalities are not responsible for your water, for your gas lines, for your heat. He said he pretty much said go out and find some trees and make your own fire.
Okay. All right. Who's gonna start? Who's gonna start? Because I'm ready for this guy.
Go ahead, Steph.
Go ahead, Steph. You go first.
All right. Number one, right? This is an official, right? This is an individual where if those people that are living in that county, you are paying taxes. You are essentially paying for all the the services that you are getting, whether if it's water, whether if it's heat, electricity, any of that, you are paying for those services. For him to come out of his face and say that, we're not going out of our way for a handout. No, mofo, we're paying for these services. We are entitled to have these services done, and it is not their fault. The citizens are not at fault if the city is not ready or prepared for any of these type of weather changes. It's not their fault. It is not their fault.
Like I felt like I'm reading this paragraph. I feel like he's just missing the N words and just like freaking putting
profanities.
Missing profanities, derogatory statements, like stereotypes, everything. Yeah, just singling out minorities and stuff. That's all he needed. Because from the beginning it says no one owes you and your family anything, nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during trying times like this. Sink or swim, it's your choice.
Yo, this dude is wilding out.
I mean, oh man,
only the strong will survive, and the weak will perish.
Talk about leadership, like talk about he's like the walking COVID, whoever survives COVID survives, whoever dies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Leadership is important, you know what I mean? And these people are looking for leadership and looking for guidance, and that is terrible advice. And like I always say, be careful who you take advice from.
Dude, the last sentence says, bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout.
Oh, no.
Get off your ass and take care of your own family.
This is crazy.
Sounds like a part of the Capitol Hill speech. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he said somebody hacked into my account and wrote this. It wasn't me.
No, I think he stepped down.
Yeah, he stepped down. Yeah, so he stepped down. He resigned. And now another dummy, Senator Cruz. Everyone's giving him a lot of fire right now because during everything that's going on in Texas, my man decided to go fly his daughter to Cancun to go drop her off to Cancun, and then but in his case he flew right back. He did it just to escort her, to make sure they get there safe and everything.
So why is he a dummy?
Because he went out there and did it knowing that everything's going on. You being an official, you should have just canceled your trip. But now they're calling him a hypocrite because there was another senator that went down to Cancun in, I think, during the summer. In I think August, September last year. And then he made a video statement from Cancun telling people to stay home, don't go out, don't travel.
Oh, so my man is over here making videos, making the world live.
Right, making the world live.
And you telling people to stay home, but yet you in the sun.
Right, but yet Ted Cruz telling people that he's a hypocrite and all this stuff. And that.
That's crazy.
And now the tables have turned, and now Ted Cruz is in Cancun.
Unbelievable, yo. You see my face?
Yeah, so if you got nothing nice to say,
you look mad.
Don't say anything because social media will eat you alive now, bro.
So now they're probably saying,
hold you accountable.
They're probably saying, Joel Osteen, can you please find a way to pray for us and find us new leadership? If you guys don't know who Joel Osteen is, he's like one of the biggest pastors.
Pastors, yeah.
In the planet, actually. I was gonna say like United on the planet, My
man's the new Benny Hill.
The new Benny Hill. Yeah, they gotta be a point, bro. There's gotta be a point. And on top of that, he quits. He basically said
he resigned.
He said, "I'm out." Drops the mic and resigns.
Yeah, he pretty much said, "I could have worded it differently."
Yo, that is the.
I could have said this, but I decided to do this.
That is the most.
Yeah, I could have said it differently.
Half-ass response.
Yeah, motherfucker, you wrote like a 3-paragraph. Like it's like pretty much you wrote what you wanted, but without cursing.
Yo, this dude was literally listening to Mobb Deep when he wrote it.
That was his inspiration.
Survival of the fittest, only the strong survive. You better realize. And then drops mic and quits the gig. How do you quit the gig at a point like that? Like, unbelievable.
Do you think he feared any of the backlash? Do you think?
I don't think he cared
at this point, because it don't sound like he cared in the first place.
Right. Just by reading this, it sounds like you don't care.
And you know what?
The people that voted you in, like, come on.
Right. The situation is, well, remember, this guy probably has kids, family and family all over Texas.
The backlash he's going to get.
What you said, Dre?
The backlash is him and his family are going to get for who knows how long.
Yeah, like you saw what your dad wrote at a time like this?
You ain't my boy no more.
Oh, my God, man. I mean, that's just, oh my God. Again, everybody, we're doing this remote. If we was together, Dre would have had like 38 different
sound effects
to show you what kind of guy this guy is and how we think of him. But man, yo, that is just so tough, yo. I mean, it's funny to a degree because I think this is the first time somebody said, yo, survive. Deal with it. You'll be all right. Find a way.
Yeah, we're not living in the Stone Age. We are living in a modern time where we are reliant on, like gas. These are just normal, basic living needs. Like you can't just say, "Oh, go figure it out." What? Like, what are you saying?
Right, but we gotta remember that Texas isn't built like New York.
It's not prepared.
Our infrastructure is it's already set up for all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Over there it's just a little bit of fall, summer, a little bit of spring, no winter. It's no winter at all until now. Like now they get
unfortunately, yeah. But the way that the people are suffering, you're kicking the people while they're down. Like there was no reason to come out your face like that. Absolutely no reason for it. No reason for it.
No, nobody in Texas who's going through it deserve that,
Absolutely not.
It's just, but you got to think about, now people got to really think about who they put in office moving forward out there.
What did you just say that out loud? Did we not just have this conversation about Trump? Like, you got to be careful who you put in office. Like, what?
Right. Like, this is the point where you're going to say, you know what? I think we're going to give Dwayne Johnson a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, we don't got nothing to lose. Literally. What did Trump say at one point when he was running for president? Hey, what do you got to lose? He said that. And he won.
I'm not even mad at his game. So here we are 4 years later.
Again, Dre, before we leave, what's the quote of the day so people could really say, okay, you're right. What was the quote again?
If you got nothing nice to say, shut the fuck up.
Facts.
My mom, like I said, my mom used to always say that. You got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Because then you look like a fool.
Absolutely. Man, this was awesome, guys. So, look, people, everybody, again, thank you for joining us. Remote movement.
Yeah, we apologize for the sound quality, but next week should be good.
Yeah, we'll be twice as better. You already know what it is. So this is your boy B.
This is your boy King Karim.
This is Dre Nice.
This is Steph D'Arco.
Oh, Steph, before we leave, answer. You know how you always ask Steph, where do we find each other, King Karim? Well, where can they find us? Do that again. I love when you do that.
Yo, Steph, tell them where to find us.
There it is.
I give up. You guys do it.
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Anchor. I'll do it. We're on Anchor. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Apple. Breaker Radio, man. Radio Public.
Significant Other Life.
Yeah, man. I got you, boo.
Thank you so much.
20 Talk 20 and 20 Talk.
iHeartRadio.
And iHeartRadio.
Don't forget iHeartRadio. And don't forget, guys, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 20 Talk 20. Guys, please stay safe. Make sure that you're out there. Give your love to all those people out in Texas. They need it. They need your warmth as well, because these idiots over here.
Sidewalks. Yeah, please.
Yeah, be careful with these sidewalks as well. But again, guys, take care. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, people.
Later, guys.